Welcome, everyone. If you really love understanding the foundational roots of monumental historical figures, well, you're in exactly the right place today. We are jumping right into the early life of a truly remarkable individual, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. So let's just dive right in and explore the origins of a life that literally changed the entire course of human history.
Right off the bat, I want to frame the sheer scale of what we're talking about today. 1,400. We're actually tracing our steps back more than 1,400 years ago. And I know, an era like that feels incredibly distant, right? But the events that took place back then sparked a message that would eventually break through all the boundaries of its time and geography to reach literally every corner of the world.
Now, what's really interesting here is the contrast. We just looked at an origin story that kicked off over 14 centuries ago with just a single child. But today, billions. The message that began with Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is actively inspiring billions of people alive right now. It's honestly a testament to how an incredibly profound legacy can grow from one very singular point in history. So how exactly did that whole legacy begin?
Section 1. The setting and birth. Okay, to really understand this beginning, we absolutely have to look at the geographical and familial foundations. He was born in the historic city of Makkah, right into the Quraysh tribe. And the main thing you need to take away here is that the Quraysh were a highly respected tribe. Being born into this specific community, it meant he was part of a deeply established and significant societal structure within Makkah.
And when did all this happen? Well, the historical marker for his birth is famously known as the Year of the Elephant. That's the specific time frame around which Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, actually entered the world. But it wasn't just a date on a calendar. As the sources emphasize, even from these absolute earliest moments, Allah protected and guided him. This whole theme of divine protection, it's a massive undercurrent that runs right through the very beginning of his life.
Section 2. Early hardships and loss. I want us to kind of slow down for a second here, because the reality of his early situation is just heartbreaking. Even before he drew his first breath, tragedy struck with the loss of his father, Abdullah. So he was born an orphan in that Year of the Elephant. Then, when he was only 6 years old, just a tiny boy, he lost his beloved mother, Amina. The absolutely crucial point to understand is this incredibly quick succession of profound loss at such a deeply vulnerable age. By his 6th year, he had already lost both of his parents.
Section 3. Guided by loving family.
Let's see how this builds, because that profound loss was actually met with a protective shield of loving guardians. First, right after the passing of his mother, he was raised by his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib. And then, when his grandfather passed away, he was taken in and raised by his really caring uncle, Abu Talib. This sequence is just so important to remember because it shows us that despite being an orphan, he was consistently enveloped in the care, love, and protection of his close family.
Section 4. A noble character emerges.
So it's exactly within this environment, this really unique mix of severe early hardships paired with the steadying hand of loving relatives, that a very distinct persona started to form. Even as a young boy, he was widely known for his honesty, his kindness, and just an overall noble character. And this brilliantly illustrates a key takeaway for us. His integrity wasn't something that just magically appeared later in life, right? It was deeply ingrained in his identity right from his earliest days. Despite the massive trauma of losing his parents, the character of the young Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was already shining through. It really established the absolute foundation of his remarkable life.
And that perfectly summarizes everything we've unpacked today. This was only the beginning of a remarkable life that would inspire billions of people. Honestly, we have only just scratched the surface in this explainer. We've looked at the foundational beginnings, the really profound losses, and the early noble character of a historical figure whose ultimate legacy is just massive in its global reach.
Which leaves us with this one vital question. How did these early hardships ultimately shape his childhood? We know the foundations now, but how does an orphaned boy in Makkah take these intense experiences and continue to grow? I want you to keep this provocative question in your mind as you continue your learning journey. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, for really focusing in and for taking the time to understand the incredible early life of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time.